Folks are with the public sector unions. So chances are that your pensions, the pensions of your members, are invested in the companies that we're going to talk about, with the exception of the St. Paul teachers, Leah. So one of the first things I did when I started this job was to quickly look at the St. Paul teachers' retirement to see if they were invested in any of these companies, because I thought you guys would be great to do something about it, and you're not. So with the exception of that, the pensions are probably invested in a lot of the companies that we're going to be talking about. As Azani had said, with private equity, it's a very limited pool that can invest in it. So even if you and I wanted to, we can't invest in private equity unless, actually I don't know about, maybe folks have $10 million in assets here that you could. I don't want to make any assumptions, but we actually cannot invest in private equity funds. So there's a limited pool of investors who can. And about 1/3 of all the investments in private equity funds come from public employee pension funds. So it also means, though, that those pension funds can have a lot more influence with private equity than they can in a publicly traded company such as Amazon or something. So just for example, Danielle is going to speak about a company that's owned by Blackstone, which is the largest private equity firm in the world. And here's just kind of a sample of kind of some of the largest investors in private equity, in Blackstone. So one thing just to kind of note is how they invest in private equity. So when the pension fund invests in private equity, they don't invest in Blackstone or KKR as a whole, they invest in a particular fund. And that fund, when they invest, they don't know what that fund is going to be used for. So you kind of say, and it's large amounts of money, we're not talking small amounts of money, 50 million, 100 million, $500 million at a time that the pension funds are investing. And they don't know what that money is going to be used for. So they invest in, for instance, the T.H. Lee Equity Partners 7 Fund. And that's the fund that bought Art Van Furniture, which Shirley's going to speak about. And you can see, so in addition to buying Art Van Furniture with that fund, they bought a bunch of other companies, almost 30 companies in that fund. Now that also means then that the pension fund itself doesn't even really know what that money was used for. They may get reports, in addition to all of their other investments, but they actually don't know that they're invested in Art Van Furniture at the time. So this also means that when a company like Shirley's goes bankrupt, that the fund can actually still be very profitable because it's one of almost 30 companies. So if those other 29 companies are making money, then the fact that Art Van Furniture went bankrupt and put all of these workers out of work actually doesn't impact the investment. So from their perspective, they actually don't really care from the private equity fund. Overall, the fund is profitable and making money. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.